Back to the Columbia Cup, so it's the Miller American turbine against the 711 turbine. How does Steve Reynolds feel about it?
Well, let's find out, Don, by asking the man himself. How about the matchup?
Well, I wonder how the Miller feels matched up against the 711. You know, that's about the way I look at it. We came here to run, and if they're prepared to do the same, let's go out and have fun.
So it looks like there'll be a good heat coming up, Don.
It's been a major topic in the newspapers this week, the eventual matchup of these two boats. They will do so here in a preliminary heat, the Miller American and the 711. So Heat 2A is underway. Look for the two turbine boats now as they come down. They are right next to each other. On the inside, Chip Hanauer. On the outside, Steve Reynolds in the 711. And as you hear the turbines come by, the whoosh or the whining of these turbine engines, not like the piston engines, much lighter, much more powerful. And Chip Hanauer with the inside position on the 711 and Steve Reynolds. Look at the Miller American fly down the back chute. Steve Reynolds giving chase on the outside. Chip Hanauer moving at speeds at better than 160 down the backstretch. This is third and fourth place on the left. Todd Yarling, Cellular 1. Oh boy, Alberto on the right in fourth place. The Miller American in first place here in Heat 2A in the Columbia Cup in Tri-Cities, Washington. Chip Hanauer, first place. And it looks like in the background you saw the 711 coming to a stop in that turn. Yes, Steve Reynolds, something wrong with the 711 turbine engine, and he is coming to a stop. So that matchup we talked about won't happen, at least here in 2A. Reynolds waving that everything's all right, but he'll have the best seat in the house as he watches the rest of Heat 2A. Moving into second place then is Todd Yarling in the Cellular 1. In first place in the meantime, Miller American. And there's Chip Hanauer, hoping to win his second straight race of the afternoon. Make it a perfect day. If he got 400 points, he'd be 2 for 2. Oh, nice battle for second and third. On the outside, Executive Telephones and Scott Pierce. Scotty with no points so far today. He needs points badly to get into that final heat. Three boats, Boy Alberto on the right, Cellular 1 in the center, and on the outside, the far left, is Executone Telephones with Scott Pierce out of Seattle, Washington. Another Seattle native, Chip Hanauer, a national champion in many, many different classes before moving up to the Unlimiteds. Scott Pierce, likewise for him, a very, very fine driver in the Northwest in the Limiteds before getting up into the bigger boats. The Executone Telephone moving into second place. And that would give Scott 300 points for the day, and I don't know if that's enough to get into the final or not. Quickly to the pits, an update on 711.
Let's check with Jerry Zubich right now. Jerry, you're on the course with Lee Cheneth, the referee. What happened up there?
Well, on the 711, he just, I believe, went dead in the water. The driver got out of the cockpit, walked back to the back of the boat, and waved his hands. He's all right. So I think everything's all right in the 711. Maybe he had some engine trouble.
That's the story from down here, Don.
All right, thank you, Jim. In the meantime, we have just gotten a report. The speed for the Miller American on lap number 1, 141.3 miles per hour. That is the first time any boat in a competition situation has ever run faster than 140 miles per hour. So Chip Hanauer with 2 records in 2 days. First qualifying at better than 153, and now running a competition lap at better than 141 miles per hour. My goodness, where will this boat end? Chip Hanauer now cruising along in first place now that the 711 has gone dead in the water. More than likely, the 711 should make the final okay. Steve Reynolds winning his earlier heat and picking up 400 points, so he should be all right. This man is in a real dogfight right now. Scotty Pierce in the Executone Telephones, the national point leader, badly needing points to get into the final heat. He would only get 300 if he finishes second place, which it appears he will, and I just don't know if that's going to be enough. Scott Pierce. Todd Yarling, third place, and the Cellular 1 out of Madison, Indiana. That John Steinecker designed boat, and they've got it running quite well, as a matter of fact, here in the past couple of races. We talked so much about the Miller American being a fast boat. This is also a very safe boat. Chip Hanauer, the first man to go back to using seat belts, the 5-point seat belt system. Boy, he's probably glad he had him right there as he got a lot of air under the boat. Chip Hanauer, 1 more lap to go. Here on lap 4, slowing way down to 118 miles per hour, saving his engine. Second place is the Executone Telephones and Scotty Pierce. So Chip Hanauer, who was inducted into the APBA Hall of Champions back back in 1983, the two-time national champion, is in the driver's seat for Heat 2A. He can pick up another 400 points. That would give him 800 for the day. And should he win the final, that would be a perfect 1,200 points. And that would certainly get him back into the national points race. So the Miller American, with Chip Hanauer out of Seattle, the winner of Heat 2A. 800 points for the day, and now on to the final for Chip. So Hanauer and company are simply on a roll. Executone Telephone's coming in second place, but as we said earlier, Hanauer with another record. Let's go down to the pits and talk with Chip.
Well, let's find out from Chip Hanauer right now. We can find out, you know, another record you set now. That's the fastest lap in the history of unlimited hydroplane racing, any course, anywhere.
Well, these darn guys keep going faster and makes us having to do that.
Any concern on your part about the rudders that were replaced earlier this week?
Yeah, I have to say, you know, rudders now, I'm a little gun shy, but, you know, Jim told me, he said, if there's a problem, I'm not letting you go anywhere. And he looked at it, he came up and he said, no, I know what it was, and he fixed it, and it looks great now.
You look great now. Okay, Don.
Chip referring to team owner and team manager Jim Lucero. In the meantime, Chip's chief competitor Steve Reynolds wants a ride back to the pits, get his 7-Eleven ready for the final. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Columbia River, where boats are heading out for E2B, the KISW. This is Jim Kropfeld in the new Miss Budweiser, the 5-point belt system. Tom Neath, driver of the Squire Shot Britannia. He drove the Light All-Star turbine boat last year. Now again driving a boat powered by piston engines. The Miss Budweiser, the Squire Shot Britannia, the Miss Rock, and American Speedy Printing yet to get any points. And this heat belonged to Tom Neath and the Squire Shot Britannia. Its first race in 1985, its first heat victory in this year. The boat, which was virtually rebuilt by crew chief Jim Harvey, performed flawlessly and has been doing extremely well all day. So another 400 points for Tom Neath, 700 for the day, and it is on to the final for Neath and company. And two boats are assured of making the final. The Squire Shot Britannia and the Miss Budweiser, with Jim Kropfeld getting another second place and 600 points for the day. Let's hear from the Squire Shot Britannia team.
Let's find out right now. The first time this crew has been on the circuit, in their first appearance, they do a win. Well, how is it, Tommy?
Oh, it feels great. The Britannia Squire Shop came home a winner for the first time this year, and I guarantee you Bob Styles going to like that.
Let's find out from Bob Style. Bob, I tell you, we missed you on the eastern part of the circuit, but you come back strong.
Fantastic. It's just a lot of fun to be back, and it's good to see a little water on Tommy. He's back here with us. He's doing a great job out there.
Elsewhere in the pits, word from this man, Jerry Verhill, team manager of the 7-Eleven, is that the coupler broke. That connects the drive shaft with the gearbox. But the big engine, affectionately called Big Wally, is okay and will be ready for the final. And we'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Unlimited Hydroplane High Performance Corner. A closer look at the fastest race boats in the world.
To watch it unlimited hydroplane at top speeds is poetry in motion. And all of a sudden, with a rooster tail 50 foot high, 200 foot back, it hits the corner and a second effect takes place. This is created by the skid fin. And Tommy Neath, an experienced driver, is with us. And Tommy, exactly what does the skid fin do?
Well, the skid fin helps hold the boat in the corner all the way around the corner. It's mounted on the left sponson. It's made out of a special aluminum alloy. It's about 9,000 psi per square inch exerted on this fin throughout the corner.
Besides cornering, what effect does it have on the boat?
Well, if this skid fin were to come off, the boat would not maintain a straight line down the straightaway. It actually would crab, and when you would get to the corner without this fin, the boat would just keep right on slide and you couldn't turn it.
Just another point to make about the intricacies of unlimited hydroplane racing. Thank you, Tommy Neath.
And looking ahead, 6 boats have qualified for the final. And of course, that means, again, the rematch between the Miller American and the 7-Eleven. That and more coming up in just a moment. We've had 4 preliminary heats today in the Tri-Cities area, and it comes down to this. The final lineup, the top 6 boats, with the Miller American and, of course, the 7-Eleven, the big matchup between the turbines. And don't forget about the Bud or the Squire Shop Britannia. You're in the cockpit with Steve Reynolds, driver of the Miss 7-Eleven.
Rudder straight.
And what a day this boat has had. The Squire Shop Britannia and driver Tom Deeth, 700 points for the day, a first and second place in 2 preliminary heats. Bob Stile, the owner, behind Tommy, getting some last-minute instructions. This is Jerry Hopp, been very consistent with 394 points for the day, just enough to get into that top 6 boats. Here's Scotty Pierce, driver of Executone Telephones, the second alternate. If 2 boats break, he'll be in the final. Miller American, things looking good for Chip Hanauer. On his right, Todd Yarling and the Cellular One heading out to that 2.5-mile course on the Columbia River. The Oboy Alberto, Jerry Hopp, and the Budweiser with Jim Kropfeld. Steve Reynolds, the turbine-powered 7-Eleven, heading out to do battle. So the 6 drivers guaranteed for a piece of the prize money. Jerry Hopp, the Oboy Alberto out of Seattle. Also from Seattle, Steve Reynolds, the Miss 7-Eleven in the turbine-powered Hydroplane. Todd Yarling out of Madison, Indiana, and the Cellular One. Jim Kropfeld and the Miss Budweiser, the new boat. Still trying to dial it in. Tom Deeth, what a great day he's had in the Squire Shop Britannia. And finally, Chip Hanauer and the Miller American looking for a perfect day today. And very quickly, how do 3 of the drivers view the start of this final?
The only chance I've got is I got to get on the inside, get a real good start, and make them chase me. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The turbines are fast, so inside's the place I'm going to be.
I think at the start, I just want to be clean. I just want to have good, clean water to run in. I don't want to have to, run through somebody else's wake, nor do I want to get hosed down by somebody. So I think my biggest objective will just try and find my little spot.
Well, we're running the speeds that the Miller and the 7-Eleven have been running. It's obviously taken its toll on equipment. Our drive shaft, they're 2 rudders. My concern is, can we run that fast and run safely and make sure the equipment stays together? And the only way to really find that out is to get up there and run that fast.
All 6 boats are now running. They're coming around the west turn here on the 2.5-mile course in Tri-Cities, Washington. Time remaining down to 5 seconds for the start. All the boats look like they'll be safe. It should be a good start for the final. The 2 turbine boats in the center of your screen as they head into the east turn. The Miller American in first place with Chip Hanauer. On the outside of him is the 7-Eleven and Steve Reynolds flying into that turn. Getting into the backstretch first is the Miller American and Chip Hanauer. On the outside of him, behind his rooster tail, is the 7-Eleven turbine-powered boat. The Miller American and the 7-Eleven with identical engines. The Squire Shop Britannia is in third. Fourth place, the Budweiser. And again, back to Chip Hanauer heading into the west turn. Here on lap number 1 of the final. The 20th straight year they've raced in the Tri-Cities area. The winner last year in this race, of course, Chip Hanauer when it was the Gold Cup. And right now he's got a lead. Oh, he flies going through that turn. And look who's starting to pull on him. The 7-Eleven and Steve Reynolds cutting down the lead as he comes down the main straightaway, completing lap number 1. A lot of air getting under the 7-Eleven. Speed for the Miller American, lap number 1. Almost 139 miles per hour. Third place still belongs to the Squire Shop Britannia. The Budweiser going dead in the water here on lap number 1. Jim Kropfeld's day is over. But back to the matter at hand, the turbine boats. We've been waiting all day for this matchup between Reynolds and Chip Hanauer. Hanauer with a slight lead now going down the back chute. The Miller American in first place. Again into the turn, you see the skid fin digging in, the water flying high into the air, and on the outside, the 7-Eleven, but it's slowing down. Again, problems plaguing the 7-Eleven here on lap number 2 of the final in the Columbia Cup for 1985. Chip Hanauer is now way out in front as the 7-Eleven and Steve Reynolds slowly come to a rest in the western, the same place he came to rest during Heat 2A in their first matchup. And get this, Speed on lap number 2 for the Miller American, 143.1 miles per hour. Earlier he ran 141. He has already broken his own record. A third record now set by the Miller American at Chip Hanauer today. What a day for the Miller American. In second place now is Tom DeEath and the Squire Shop Britannia. In third place is the Cellular One and Todd Yarling out of Madison, Indiana. Chip Hanauer about to complete lap number 3, and he is not slowing down at all. As you see, Jim Kropfeld sitting there, going to simply have to enjoy the race right now. He's sitting in the main straightaway as the Squire Shop and Tom DeEath in second place goes past the Budweiser, completing lap number 2. Again, the Squire Shop. You've got to say something about Jim Harvey, the crew chief, who has done a fabulous job getting this boat prepared. All the engines, as many as a dozen to use for that team. In third place, again, Todd Yarling and the Cellular One. The Miller American. On lap number 3, the Miller American has gone 143 miles per hour again, so Chip Hanauer is screaming around this course, doing an extremely good job. The Miller American in first place. 3 records today. Already 2 wins in preliminary action, and about to lap the third place boat, Todd Yarling and the Cellular One. The Squire Shop, virtually a rebuilt boat. Jim Harvey working on the sponsons, rebuilding much of the insides of the boat. The transom is brand new, and it has performed admirably today. But what can you say about this man, Chip Hanauer, the team manager and co-owner, of course, Jim Lucero, who designed and built this boat. And this, if all things hold on, will be his 3rd victory out of the last 4 races in the 1985 circuit. The Miller American coming around the western here in Tri-Cities, Washington. About 300 miles away from his hometown is Chip Hanauer, looking after and looking for his 3rd victory in 1985. The Miller American, Chip Hanauer, a winner here in the Columbia Cup 1985. The crew just getting word, listening to a local radio broadcast. Here's your second place boat, the Squire Shop Britannia, in its first race of 1985. Second place. Third place, Todd Yarling, Cellular One. So the Miller American is batting 1,000 for this race in Tri-Cities with 1,200 points. The Squire Shop Britannia, Cellular One, 7-11, Oboy Alberto, and the Miss Budweiser. Let's hear from the winner.
It's getting to be a habit, folks. We did the same thing at Evansville. Congratulations, Chip.
It's not enough of a habit, you know. They come too hard to ever think you get too many of them.
Quite a test, though, in the early laps there with you in the 7-11. It was a great-looking race.
Yeah, that was fun. You know, I just wish he could have kept going. It looks like he died right in the same spot, but it was going to be fun.
Did you have to test your equipment? By that, I mean the rudder, which was a problem earlier?
Yeah, we ran the boat pretty hard there. You know, I was running conservatively, just waiting to see how much he had, and then he showed me his bow, and I said, I better get with it here, and then we were running the boat hard at that point.
Victory number 15 for you.
16, we're wrong, 16.
Quit trying to short me one there.
Congratulations. Jim, congratulations to you, too.
Thank you, Don. No, it's great to win here in the Tri-Cities.